My name is Dan Frith. I'm going to talk a little bit today about jury trials in Virginia and just what is a jury trial. I'm sure everyone out there has seen a movie or a TV show which has depicted part of a case being tried in court. How close is that to what happens in Virginia? Yeah, depends on which movie, depends on which TV show. But lots of times there's information there that's not provided to you that you might find of interest with regard to your situation and your case and the jury trial that you may have in your case. First, juries in Virginia, civil juries in Virginia, meaning cases involving personal injury, breach of contract, medical malpractice, they're decided by a jury of 7 people, not 12. 12 is saved for criminal cases. And so that's one misconception sometimes that we see in movies and TV about juries. There are usually 7 jurors in Virginia, absent exceptional circumstances. And how are those juries chosen? We never see that on our show, on our movie. Well, in Virginia, what happens is if you're in state circuit court, you're in the city of Richmond circuit court, city of Roanoke, city of Bristol, Wytheville County, Buchanan County, Giles County, those jurors who are selected to potentially hear a case in those jurisdictions, they're collected from the actual city limits or county limits of where the court resides. They're chosen randomly through some public records that the courts have access to. And what will happen is for, let's say, a 3-day jury trial in the city of Salem, they will bring in 15 or 20 potential jurors on the morning of the first day of trial. The judge will explain to the jurors what the case is about and what their role would be as jurors if they are selected. The judge goes into greater detail about who the parties are and who the lawyers are, and if they have any conflict of interest. Does any member of the potential jury see this doctor who's a defendant in this case as a physician? Then after the judge gets answers to his or her question, the judge turns it over to the attorneys for each of the parties. The plaintiff's lawyer goes first, and that plaintiff's lawyer is asking questions of those potential jurors, basically to find bias. Are there certain jurors there, for example, and what we do, a lot of what we do is medical malpractice cases. Are there juries on that, people on that potential jury panel, do they believe that no doctor should ever be sued for negligence, regardless of how horrible, as long as they didn't do it intentionally? We need to know that, because if we find those people out and they answer our questions correctly, then we can ask the court to discharge or dismiss that potential jury from the list of jurors because they're not objective, they're not unbiased, they're prejudiced. And the defense attorneys do the same thing. They ask the same questions. They want to know if you've had a particularly bad experience with doctors or with or healthcare, or if you've ever been involved in a lawsuit before, have you filed lawsuits before? So once all that information is gathered, certain jurors will be excused because of various reasons that the court and the lawyers don't believe that they would be able to be fair. And then in a civil case, each side, plaintiff and defendant, gets 3 what are called preemptory strikes. And basically they're stricken just because of their general background, that for whatever reason, the defense lawyer doesn't believe that they would likely be fair to the defense. And on our side, representing the plaintiff or the patient, we find or determine that that juror might not be favorable to us for whatever reason. And then those people are asked to leave. And then the jury is impaneled, sworn in by the court, and then the case begins. And the jury's role through the entire case, be it a day-long case, a week-long case, a multi-week-long case, their role is to hear the competing testimony from both sides and to determine what the true facts are. Not to be prejudiced one way or the other, to determine what the true facts are, and then to apply the law that at the end of the case, the judge will give to them, apply the law to the facts of the case and reach a decision or a verdict. In a civil case, a verdict basically is only one of 2 things. The verdict is either in favor of the plaintiff, finding that the plaintiff, person who brought the lawsuit, proved that the defendant was negligent and that their injuries were caused by the defendant's negligence. They have to prove 2 things as a plaintiff to be successful, or for the defendant and not award any damages if they find that the plaintiff did not prove the negligence of the defendant, or if they proved the defendant was negligent, did not prove that the resulting injuries were caused by that negligence. In that case, the verdict would be for the defendant. So that's a very short tutorial on Virginia cases and juries in Virginia. And the one quick difference with regard to federal court, if you're in federal court in Virginia in a civil case, they draw from a much larger area. If you're in federal court in Roanoke, they'll draw from multiple potential jurors from multiple cities and counties around Roanoke who could be on your jury. So it's a much more involved process there. But that's the discussion for today on civil juries in Virginia. Thanks.